The communications array on Kepler Station buzzed with routine chatter, trade negotiations, weather reports, mining quotas. Dr. Sarah Chen adjusted her headset and settled into another quiet night shift, monitoring deep space frequencies. Nothing ever happened on the graveyard shift. Then the signal hit. It wasn't the usual electromagnetic pulse or gravitational wave. This was something else entirely. A desperate alien voice cutting through the static like a knife through silk. "Please, anyone. We are dying. The scourge has found us. Our children. They're taking our children. If there are any Gardener worlds listening, we beg you, send help. Coordinates follow. We don't have long." Sarah's coffee mug shattered on the floor. Her hands trembled as she reached for the recording equipment. The coordinates burned themselves into her mind. A system 47 light-years away, where something unthinkable was happening. She had no idea that this message would change everything. The aliens had been calling for help from their gentle allies, the Gardener worlds, peaceful civilizations that tended their planets like cosmic gardens. Instead, they had reached Earth, and humans were anything but gardeners. Chapter 1. The Deathworld response captain Marcus Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the U.S. Retribution, watching the stars streak past as they dropped out of faster-than-light travel. His weathered face bore scars from the Martian uprising and the asteroid belt conflicts. Behind him, the ship's crew moved with practiced efficiency, each one a veteran of humanity's endless wars. "Captain," called Lieutenant Kim from the communications station. "We're receiving that alien distress signal again. Same message, same coordinates." Marcus nodded grimly. 3 weeks had passed since Dr. Chen's discovery on Kepler Station. 3 weeks of furious preparation as Earth's military scrambled to respond to the first confirmed alien contact in human history. The message had sparked heated debates in the Global Defense Council. Some argued for caution, for sending diplomats and scientists. Others demanded a full military response. In the end, compromise won. They sent both. The Retribution carried the largest military force humanity had ever assembled for an interstellar mission, alongside a team of linguists, xenobiologists, and peace negotiators. "Distance to target system?" Marcus asked. 14 hours at current speed, sir," replied Navigator Torres. Dr. Elena Vasquez, the mission's chief xenobiologist, approached the captain. Her dark eyes held a mixture of excitement and concern. "Captain, I've been analyzing the message. The linguistic patterns suggest a highly emotional state, pure terror. Whatever this scourge is, it has them absolutely terrified. Any theories on what we're dealing with?" The word scourge in their language translates roughly to world eater or life stealer, and they mention taking children specifically. This isn't random violence, it's systematic. Marcus's jaw tightened. During his 30 years of military service, he'd seen what systematic brutality looked like. The thought of it happening to an alien species trying to protect their young stirred something primal in his chest. "Sir," Torres called out, "we're detecting something on long-range sensors. Multiple ships in the target system. Put it on screen." The view screen shimmered to life, showing a distant star system. Even from this range, they could see the infrared signatures of massive vessels moving between planets. "Those aren't cargo ships," muttered Commander Hayes, the Retribution's tactical officer. "Those energy signatures, they're weapons platforms." Dr. Vasquez gasped. "Captain, look at the third planet. The one they said was their homeworld." Marcus stared at the data streaming across his console. The planet's surface temperature was rising rapidly. Atmospheric composition was changing. And the electromagnetic readings. "Dear God," he whispered. "They're strip mining the entire planet." The bridge fell silent. Everyone understood what they were witnessing. The systematic destruction of an entire world and its people. "Captain," Kim's voice was tight. With controlled emotion, "the distress signal just changed. It's weaker now." The new message crackled through the speakers, barely audible. "If anyone receives this, remember us. Remember that we tried to save our children. The scourge feeds on worlds like ours. Find the other Gardener worlds. Warn them. Don't let our deaths be static. The signal died. Marcus stood in the crushing silence, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. Humanity had been asked to help, and they'd arrived too late to save this world. But they could still learn who was responsible. All hands, he announced over the ship's intercom. Battle stations. We're going in. As alarms rang throughout the ship, Dr. Vasquez grabbed his arm. Captain, with respect, we don't know what we're facing. The aliens called for help from Gardener worlds, peaceful civilizations. They weren't expecting a military response. Marcus looked at her with grim determination. Doctor, they sent an SOS to anyone who would listen. Well, we listened. And in about 13 hours, these Scourge are going to learn why the galaxy doesn't mess with the Deathworld's children. Asu. Chapter 2. First Contact, the Scourge Harvester Prime. Zexhi floated in the command chamber of the mothership Endless Hunger, watching the final stages of planetary extraction with satisfaction. Below, the third world of this system was nearly drained, its biosphere converted to pure energy, its population processed into genetic material for the collective. The beings had called themselves the Veltar, and they had been disappointingly easy to conquer. Like all Gardener world species, they were soft, slow to anger, quick to seek compromise. They had actually tried to negotiate even as their cities burned. Harvester Prime, buzzed the voice of Lesser Scourge Kethel. The extraction is 94% complete. We can begin departure procedures. Excellent. Have the child subjects been properly catalogued? Yes, Harvester Prime. Their genetic templates will serve well for the breeding programs. The adult specimens showed remarkable resistance to environmental toxins. Their offspring should prove valuable. Zexhi rippled with pleasure. The Scourge had perfected the foul art of galactic predation over millennia. They would strip a world of resources, harvest its population, then move on before any response could be organized. The Gardener worlds were always too slow, too peaceful, too trusting. Harvester Prime. A different voice, sharp with alarm. Unknown vessel approaching at high velocity. Zexhi's attention snapped to the tactical display. A single ship, smaller than their harvester vessels but moving with alarming speed. Origin? Unknown. Harvester Prime. The energy signature is strange. Very high-density fusion drives. Primitive but extremely powerful. Hail them. Standard intimidation protocol. The communication array crackled to life, broadcasting the usual Scourge message across all frequencies. Unknown vessel, you approach claimed territory of the Scourge Collective. Withdraw immediately or be processed for genetic material. The response came in heavily accented Galactic Standard. This is Captain Marcus Rodriguez of the United Earthship Retribution, representing the human species. You are ordered to cease hostile actions against the inhabitants of this system and prepare to be boarded for questioning. The command chamber fell silent. In 3,000 years of expansion, no one had ever ordered the Scourge to do anything. Harvester Prime, whispered Kethel. They claim to represent something called humans. The database has no record of this species. Zexhi studied the approaching vessel more carefully. Its design was crude but functional, angular, aggressive, bristling with what looked like kinetic weapons. Primitive, but there was something unsettling about its purposeful construction. They must be a previously unknown Gardener world species, Zexhi decided. Activate the fear induction protocols. Show them recordings of planetary processing. Once they see what we do to worlds, they'll flee like all the others. The transmission array sent the standard intimidation package, footage of worlds burning, populations being harvested, children being processed. Images designed to break the spirit of any civilized species. The human ship's response was immediate and completely unexpected. You have 30 seconds to begin releasing any surviving prisoners. The human captain's voice was ice cold. Or we open fire. Lesser Scourge Vithak chittered in confusion. Harvester Prime. They saw the recordings. They know what we're capable of. Why aren't they fleeing? But Zexhi was studying the tactical readouts more carefully now. The human ship was small, yes, but its power output was enormous. Those weren't decorative weapons ports along its hull. Harvester Prime. The sensor operator's voice carried a note of panic. I'm detecting massive energy buildup in their forward sections. They're actually preparing to attack us. Zexhai felt a chill of unfamiliar emotion. Doubt. In 3 millennia, the Scourge had never encountered a species that responded to intimidation with aggression. The Gardener worlds always sought peaceful solutions, even in the face of extinction. What kind of world produces beings like this? Zexhai whispered. The answer came from their own databases a moment later, as automated systems finally identified the human ship's point of origin, the third planet of an unremarkable yellow star, 47 light-years away. What they found in the spectral analysis made Zexhai's blood run cold. The human homeworld's atmosphere was 21% oxygen, high enough to fuel massive fires. Its gravity was 1.3 times galactic standard. Tectonic activity was extreme, with frequent earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. Weather patterns included massive storm systems with winds exceeding 200 kilometers per hour. The planet had been struck by planet-killer asteroids at least 6 times in its history, and life had recovered each time. By the void, Kethel breathed. It's a death world, an actual death world. Death worlds were legendary in galactic civilization, planets so hostile that they were considered uninhabitable. The theoretical studies suggested that any species evolving on such a world would be impossibly violent, aggressive, and resilient, but they were supposed to be theoretical. Harvester Prime, the communications officer's voice was shaking. The humans are hailing us again. The transmission crackled with static, but the words were clear. Time's up. All hands. Battle stations. Let's show these monsters what Deathworlders do to child killers. Through the viewports, Zexhai watched in horror as the human ship's weapons came online. Not energy weapons, but kinetic projectiles, chunks of metal accelerated to incredible speeds. Primitive, but against their lightly armored harvester ships, the first salvo struck the endless hunger, like the fist of an angry god. Chapter 3. When Deathworlders go to war, the Retribution shuddered as its railguns fired again, sending tungsten rods screaming through space at 30% the speed of light. Each impact against the alien mothership sent shock waves rippling across its organic-looking hull. Direct hit on their port sections, called Commander Hayes from Tactical. Their armor's not designed for kinetic impact. It's built to deflect energy weapons. Captain Rodriguez watched the tactical display with grim satisfaction. Continue firing. Target their weapon systems first, then propulsion. Dr. Vasquez stood beside him, her face pale as she watched the battle unfold. Captain, look at their ship design. It's clearly meant for intimidation, those organic curves, the dark coloring. They're psychological warfare specialists. Not anymore, Marcus replied as another volley slammed into the alien vessel. Lieutenant Kim, any response from them? They're trying to hail us, sir. Audio only. Put them through. The voice that came through the speakers was unlike anything they'd ever heard, a mixture of chittering, buzzing, and what sounded like multiple creatures speaking in unison. Human vessel, cease your attack. We are the Scourge Collective. We have harvested 1,000 worlds. You cannot stand against us. Marcus activated the comm. This is Captain Rodriguez. You murdered an entire planet of people who were calling for help. Their last message was about trying to save their children. So no, we're not going to cease our attack. You do not understand. We are apex predators. We consume worlds. Yeah, I got that part. Marcus's voice was deadly calm. You know what you didn't get? You picked the wrong species to threaten. Humans don't abandon their young. We don't abandon anyone's young, and we especially don't negotiate with child killers. Another salvo of railgun fire punctuated his words. The alien mothership was listing now, atmosphere bleeding from multiple breaches. Impossible, the alien voice screeched. You are from a garden world. You should flee. You should seek compromise. Dr. Vasquez stepped forward. Put me through, Captain. Marcus nodded. and she activated her own comm channel. "This is Dr. Elena Vasquez, xenobiologist. For your records, humans are not from a garden world. We're from Earth, what you would classify as a Class 12 death world. We evolved alongside predators that could crush us, survived ice ages that lasted millennia, and learned to fight back against everything our planet threw at us." The alien transmission went silent for a long moment. "That's one impossible," came the eventual response, much quieter now. "Death worlds cannot produce spacefaring civilizations. The violence, the competition, it would prevent cooperation." "You're wrong," Dr. Vasquez replied. "The violence taught us to protect each other. The competition taught us to work together. And when we heard that distress call, every single human who heard it had the same reaction. We have to help them." On the tactical display, more blips appeared. Commander Hayes looked up in alarm. "Captain, multiple vessels approaching, looks like escort ships." Marcus felt his stomach drop. If they were outnumbered... "Wait," Hayes said, studying his readouts. "Sir, those aren't Scourge ships, different energy signatures entirely." Dr. Vasquez was monitoring the communications array. "Captain, we're being hailed by the new arrivals. It's the same language as the original distress call. Put them through." The voice that came through was weak but unmistakably filled with hope. "Unknown vessel. Human vessel. We are the survivors of Veltar. We received your communication. To the Scourge, we cannot believe what we are seeing." Marcus felt a surge of emotion. "How many of you are there?" 3 ships containing 847 survivors. We were evacuated before the final assault. We have been hiding in the asteroid belt, waiting to die. The Scourge said no one would come. They said the galaxy had abandoned us. The galaxy might have, Marcus replied, but humans didn't. Are there any other survivors? Any children? Yes. They have processing facilities on the second moon. Our children, they're still alive, but not for long. The Scourge uses them for genetic experimentation before... The alien didn't finish, but Marcus understood. He turned to Commander Hayes. "Change of plans. We're not just disabling that mothership, we're boarding it." "Sir," Hayes said carefully, "that's extremely dangerous. We don't know their ship layout, their defenses. They have kids in there, Commander. Human military doctrine is clear. We don't leave children behind. Ever." Dr. Vasquez stepped forward. "Captain, let me come with the boarding party. I can help translate, and my xenobiology background might be useful." Marcus started to object, then saw the determination in her eyes. "Very well, but you stay behind the Marines at all times." As the crew prepared for boarding action, the Veltar survivor ships moved closer. Their leader, who identified himself as Keeper Velshanth, provided critical intelligence about Scourge ship layouts and weaknesses. "They will not expect boarding actions," Velshanth explained through the translator. "The Scourge believes all civilized species avoid close combat. They are unprepared for violence." Marcus smiled grimly as he strapped on combat armor. "Then, they're about to get a very unpleasant education about Deathworld combat tactics." Through the viewports, the damaged Scourge mothership loomed larger. Inside its biomechanical corridors, human children from another world waited for rescue, and 200 angry human Marines were about to come get them. Chapter 4. The Scourge Learns Fear. The boarding pod slammed into the Scourge mothership's hull with a sound like thunder. Marine Sergeant Jake Morrison was first through the breach, his rifle sweeping the organic-looking corridor beyond. "Clear left, clear right, move, move, move." 20 Marines poured through the entry point, their combat, boots ringing against the strange flesh-like deck plating. The ship's interior was a nightmare of biological technology. Walls that pulsed like living tissue, lighting that resembled glowing organs, and an atmosphere thick with alien pheromones designed to induce fear. It might have worked on a garden, world species. It had the opposite effect on humans. "Jesus, this place smells like a slaughterhouse," muttered Corporal Davis, adjusting her helmet filters. "Stay focused," Morrison commanded. "Dr. Vasquez, you picking up anything on those bioscanners?" Dr. Vasquez, heavily armored and staying close to the Marines as ordered, checked her instruments. The ship's nervous system is in chaos. Our attack damaged their central coordination nodes. They're essentially flying blind. Captain Rodriguez's voice crackled through their comm units. Boarding team, we've located the processing facilities. Sending coordinates now. Be advised, the Veltar report heavy resistance in that section. Morrison checked his tactical display. Acknowledged, Captain. ETA 4 minutes. As they moved deeper into the ship, they began encountering Scourge defenders. The aliens were unlike anything in Earth's databases. Insectoid creatures the size of large dogs with multiple arms ending in razor-sharp claws and biological weapons that sprayed acid. They were utterly unprepared for human combat tactics. The first group of defenders rounded a corner and froze in confusion. They'd expected to face Garden World peacekeepers armed with stun weapons and protective shields. Instead, they found humans in military-grade armor carrying weapons designed to kill efficiently. The firefight lasted 12 seconds. Contacts down, Morrison reported, stepping over alien corpses. These things are built for intimidation, not actual combat. Their carapaces can't stop rifle rounds. Dr. Vasquez knelt beside one of the fallen aliens, her scientific training overriding her revulsion. Sergeant, look at this. Their biological weapons are clearly evolved for use against unarmored opponents. And these claw structures, they're designed to cause psychological trauma through inflicted wounds, not to kill quickly. So they're torturers, not warriors, Morrison said grimly. Good to know. They pressed deeper into the ship, encountering more resistance as they approached the processing facilities. But each group of defenders fell just as quickly as the first. The Scourge had spent millennia perfecting techniques for terrorizing peaceful civilizations. They had never learned to fight an actual military force. Boarding team, Captain Rodriguez's voice was tight with urgency. We're detecting massive energy buildup in the ship's core. They might be preparing to self-destruct. Understood, sir. Double time it, Marines. They reached the processing facility to find a scene that would haunt their nightmares for years. Rows of containment pods held alien children of various species. Some recognizably humanoid, others completely alien, but all clearly young and terrified. Dear God, whispered Dr. Vasquez. Morrison was already coordinating the rescue. Davis, start getting these pods open. Rodriguez, establish a perimeter. Doctor, can you tell which ones are safe to move? But before Dr. Vasquez could answer, the facility's main doors hissed open. Through them came something that made the previous defenders look like house pets. Harvester Prime Zexhi stood 3 meters tall, its exoskeleton gleaming with biomechanical enhancements. Multiple arms ended in weapons that pulsed with energy, and its compound eyes fixed on the humans with alien intelligence. Deathworlders, it spoke in accented English. You have cost us much. But this ends now. These specimens belong to the collective. Morrison raised his rifle, but Zexhi moved with surprising speed. Energy blasts filled the air, forcing the Marines to take cover behind the containment pods. We can't risk hitting the children, Morrison called out. Need a clean shot. That's when Dr. Vasquez did something that would become legend among xenobiologists throughout human space. Instead of taking cover, she stepped into the open and activated her translation software. Harvester Prime, she called out in the Scourge's own language. You claim to be apex predators, but look around you. Your ship is crippled. Your defenders are dead. Your harvest is ended. What kind of apex predator loses to a single ship from a species you'd never heard of? Zexhi's massive head swiveled toward her, and for a moment the energy weapon stopped firing. Impossible, it chittered. You are from a garden world. You seek compromise, negotiation. We are from Earth, Dr. Vasquez replied, her voice carrying clearly through the facility. We are the children of a world that tried to kill us every single day for 4 billion years. We learned to fight because fighting was the only way to survive. And when we heard that distress call, we didn't come to negotiate. She took another step forward, and now her voice carried the cold authority of a species that had clawed its way to the top of a hostile world's food chain. We came to end you. That was Morrison's cue. His shot took Zexhi's center mass, the high-velocity round punching through biomechanical armor like paper. The Harvester Prime collapsed, its weapon systems sparking and dying. Contacts down, Morrison reported. Facility secured, beginning evac of the prisoners. As the Marines worked to free the alien children, Dr. Vasquez knelt beside the dying Harvester Prime. Its compound eyes fixed on her with something that might have been curiosity. "Why?" it whispered in English. "They are not even your species." Dr. Vasquez considered the question seriously. "Because that's what people do. We protect children. All children. And because someone had to." Zexai's eyes dimmed. "Deathworlders," it breathed. "We never knew." Then it was gone. 20 minutes. Later, the last of the rescued children were aboard the Retribution. The Scourge mothership, its command structure destroyed and its crew dead or fled, drifted powerless in space. But Captain Rodriguez wasn't finished yet. "Open a channel to all Scourge vessels in this system," he ordered. When the connection was established, his voice carried to every ship in the alien fleet. "This is Captain Marcus Rodriguez of the United Earth ship Retribution. Your mothership is disabled. Your Harvester Prime is dead. You have two choices. Leave this system immediately or share their fate." The response was immediate. Scourge ships began jumping to faster-than-light travel, fleeing the system in panic. Within an hour, the space around the dying Veltar homeworld was clear of invaders. Epilogue. The message spreads. 6 months. Later, Dr. Sarah Chen sat in her new office at the Galactic Communications Center on Luna. Her discovery of the alien distress call had made her famous throughout human space, but more importantly, it had changed everything. The rescue of the Veltar survivors and the children from multiple species had sent shockwaves throughout the galaxy. For the first time in millennia, the Scourge had been defeated decisively. News of the battle had spread through the galactic communication networks faster than light itself. "Dr. Chen," her assistant called out. "We're receiving another transmission. It's from the Kepler sector." Sarah put down her coffee in an unbreakable mug this time and activated the main display. The face that appeared was humanoid but clearly alien, with large eyes and pale blue skin. "Greetings, humans of Earth," the alien said in careful English. "I am Ambassador Thelvas of the Andorian Collective. We are what you would classify as a garden world civilization. We have heard of your actions in the Veltar system." Sarah leaned forward. This was the 47th first contact scenario in the past 6 months. Word was spreading. "We have suffered losses to the Scourge as well," the ambassador continued. 3 of our colony worlds have been harvested in the past decade. We would like to request assistance. Not military aid, but guidance. How does a peaceful civilization learn to defend itself? Sarah smiled. This was the part she loved. "Ambassador Thelvas, I'm going to connect you with our defense cooperation program. We've been helping garden world civilizations establish defensive capabilities. But first, let me ask you something. Do you have children in your society?" "Of course. They are our most precious resource." "Then you already understand why we fight. The rest is just training." As the call ended, Sarah's assistant brought her the latest reports. The Scourge had ceased expansion activities in 17 sectors. Garden world civilizations were forming, mutual defense pacts for the first time in their histories. And scattered across a dozen systems, rescue missions were being planned for harvested populations that might still be alive. The galaxy was changing. Her console chimed with an incoming priority message. Captain Rodriguez appeared on screen, broadcasting from the bridge of the newly commissioned UES Liberator, the first ship in humanity's expanding peacekeeping fleet. "Sarah," he said with a grin, "we just received word from the Veltar. They want to establish an embassy on Earth. Seems they're calling us something in their language that translates roughly to the ones who answer the call." Sarah felt tears sting her eyes. "That's beautiful, Marcus. How are the children we rescued?" "Thriving. The human families who adopted them say they're adapting remarkably well. And the ones who were reunited with their own species, well, they're telling everyone they meet about the humans who came to save them. Any word on Scourge activity?" Marcus's expression grew serious. They're regrouping somewhere in the outer rim. Our intelligence suggests they're planning something big, maybe a coordinated assault on Earth itself. Sarah nodded. Let them come. They've spent millennia preying on civilizations that wouldn't fight back. Now they get to learn what happens when you threaten a Deathworld's family. Speaking of family, Marcus added, Dr. Vasquez wanted me to tell you that the Xenobiology Department is naming their new research station after you, the Chen Institute for Interspecies Communication. Sarah laughed. That's wonderful. Give her my thanks. As the transmission ended, Sarah turned back to her instruments. The deep space monitoring array was picking up dozens of signals now, distress calls, diplomatic transmissions, requests for aid, and offers of alliance. The galaxy had become a much more talkative place since humans had proven that someone would listen. And somewhere out there, she knew, another species might be sending their own desperate SOS into the void, hoping against hope that someone would care enough to help. When that call came, Sarah would be ready to answer it. After all, that's what people did. The end.